mighty Patriots. Rome fell this weekend, last Sunday night in Detroit. The Lions upsetting Tom Brady and the Patriots. And we're going to talk about the Patriots game with Miami this week. It's some early look-ahead lines. I'm George Chahrouri. This is the big guy, Eric Eager, and we are brought to you, as usual, by mybookie.ag. The best place to put all of the stuff that you learn here at Pro Football Focus to good use is at mybookie.ag. They have all the bet types you could possibly want. They have in-game live betting, which is wonderful. They have great customer service to make it easy to cash out. We both use it, and we love it. So use promo code PFF to get a dollar-for-dollar match on your first deposit, mybookie.ag. You play, you win, you get paid. All right, Eric, we're going to start with Miami. Going into New England, they're 3-0. They're playing the Patriots. The Patriots are massive favorites.
You're right, and by quite a bit here. And I don't really like that big number. What I do like, though, is this relatively small number of 47.5. I like this game to go over because so far the Dolphins' defense has been pretty good. But who have they played? They've played an Oakland team, a Tennessee team without their starting quarterback for most of the game, and then a New York Jets team. And we saw their offense last Thursday night. New England, you got to think that they're going to throw the kitchen sink here. And then the Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill's been really efficient so far, and he's got a very speedy group of wide receivers.
Yeah, the thing with Tannehill is that he's always been a guy that in a clean pocket, life is pretty good. Under pressure, not so much, but the Patriots really lack a pass rush. I think they allowed a 2.93 average time to throw since the start of last season, which is by far the longest in the NFL. So they were allowing quarterbacks to take their time, and I think that helps a pretty speedy Dolphins team score some points. What does that do? Well, it means Tom Brady is going to have to unload here. Hopefully, Josh Gordon is able to play. That gives him at least a decoy there. They're able to scheme some more things open, at least more than they did against the Lions.
Yeah, and I think that the Dolphins are really strong at slot corner, at safety, but the Patriots, if they have anything, are really good throwing the ball to their backs and their tight ends out of the backfield. So I think that kind of mitigates the Dolphins' biggest strength defensively.
So we go from over number 1 to over number 2, looking at the Browns and the Raiders in Oakland. The over-under right now is at 45. It's, middle of the pack here, but we've got Baker Mayfield, we've got John Gruden, and the pass rushless Oakland Raiders. So we've got an over pick again.
Yeah, and the Raiders have been a team that has kind of gotten out in front of some of these teams, right? They got out in front of Miami, they got out in front of Denver, they got out in front of the Rams in week 1, and that's kind of the perfect situation for a guy like Baker. You drop him back to throw, you throw caution to the wind, and I think that's going to be what gets this game over. Very similar to the Raiders game last weekend in Miami, where they get out ahead, and their inability to generate a pass rush, their weak secondary is going to allow the other team to sort of score enough points for this entire total to occur.
Yeah, I think that blitzing Cleveland Browns defense, hopefully that'll allow Derek Carr to do what he likes to do, which is get rid of the ball quickly and be efficient, march the ball down the field, and let some of those receivers do some things after the catch. So I think the over here is a nice play. It's also like the one we just talked about, maybe even more so. I could see this number moving up as we go through the week, so I think it's a good one to grab now.
Yeah, the Browns are very good in the secondary with Denzel Ward, but the Raiders showed last week that Jordy Nelson is not done, right? And then Amari Cooper, Jared Cook, they have the weapons, I think, as you said. If Derek Carr can get rid of the ball quickly, they're pretty good after the catch. I do think that they can put up their part in this one, and as you said, Baker Mayfield, no one's higher on Baker Mayfield than we are.
If you want to bet on Baker Mayfield, but you're a little cautious about the Browns as a whole, the over is certainly the play here. Last but not least, they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We are going to do the same thing we've done the past 3 weeks, and we're going to expect the same result, which is the Texans woefully underperforming what everyone seems to think is a potential Super Bowl team. And here they are against the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck, he can't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field, and yet we are going to take the Colts here.
Yeah, the Colts defense has been pretty impressive so far relative to expectations. They held the Eagles in check last week. They were pretty good the week before in Washington. And so the Texans, I don't think, present as big of a mismatch on that side of the ball with Deshaun Watson as people think. And then on the other side of the ball, the Texans still can't cover anybody on the outside. Their pass rush has been mostly mitigated so far. And so, the Colts Colts, I think, have the goods here to win this one outright at home and cover this 1.5.
Yeah, I think this actually is similar to that Oakland situation, right? What does Andrew Luck want to do? Well, so far it's been throw short, efficient passes. That's what Frank Reich has had him doing, and I think that sets up perfectly for the Texans, who blitz a good bit. Yeah, they can get a little bit of pressure here and there when they do that, but that leaves their corners susceptible, and they have not been good so far. So this is an opportunity, I think, to take a Colts team that I think is still certainly flying under the radar. There's probably a good bit of negative press right now about Andrew Luck,
yep.
while at the same time, everyone is just kind of writing off the Texans, right? They're saying, oh, they'll come around.
Yep.
And I think what we're really seeing is, look, Deshaun Watson is going to have a much harder road this year. I think ultimately in the end he improves,
yep.
but it's not going to be that easy. And when you have a defense that isn't necessarily great, that can be an even harder, progression to make.
Yeah, we were given a lot of flack for having the Texans finishing 4th in this division, but for us, we look at that offensive line with Houston. We look at Watson, who has continued to throw turnover-worthy passes, and then again their defense. Right, the last 2 weeks they've had pretty substantial drives on them by Blaine Gabbert and Eli Manning en route to losses to both a Tennessee team and a New York Giants team that was underdogs to them.
David Blaine Gabbert, he's a magician. You forget that.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say about this right now, it's at 1.5. I think some places already moved to 2. So what this says is that the Texans are a better team on a neutral field. And I think the conclusion will be, let's at least say these two teams are the same on a neutral field. So you want to snap this one up now, because I think likely it ends up closer to -3 by the time Sunday rolls around. And you don't want to be, just in a panic at 12:55 on Sunday. Get your bets in early. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code PFF. You play, you win, you get paid.